G'day, guys, and welcome to the Rugby Podcast Show, review show, part number 2. It's going to be an epic show this evening. We've got a lot to go through, so we'll discuss that and what we're going to do in a little bit. But right now, I want to say thank you guys for watching my channel and listening to it, wherever you are. It's awesome to have 15 subscribers. It's awesome that you're interested in my rugby knowledge. So without you guys, this channel wouldn't be possible. So thank you very much for that. So if you want to continue to subscribe, please do. If you want to continue to watch it, please do. And if you're new to this and you haven't subscribed already, go for it. Because in the near future, once we keep on going with it, I hope to get some more subscribers and expand the channel. So thank you very much, guys. It's been an awesome tournament, hasn't it, so far? And they've been quality games of rugby this weekend. So in this show, we're going to talk about the games, thoughts on the round itself, and the takeaways from it, and also our player of the tournament round for our player of the round for this World Cup. And if that's the same one, he gets points, and so on and so forth, and we'll have our player at the tournament by the end of the season. The games have been really good quality. There've been some tight ones, and there've been some low scoring ones. But low scoring ones, I think, were the best games of the World Cup so far. The blowouts, there have been 2 blowouts, unfortunately. Three. Scotland versus Tonga. Now, Tonga really, really pushed Scotland, and it was awesome to see that. But again, their skill level just undid them, and probably their fitness as well. Probably. I don't think the scoreline did it justice, but the likes of Finn Russell from Scotland against William Havili, he ran the ship for Scotland in the second half when Scotland needed him. Van der Merwe was outstanding, he was he scored. Van der Merwe scored one of the tries of the tournament as well, I thought. And if you haven't watched that try, please watch it, because it was a thing of beauty. The other 2 games that were blowouts, England-Chile. England were outstanding. I think England, I hate to say it, but they are a real threat going forward. Now, if they make the semi-final and final, they're in with a definite chance of winning the whole thing. They have come to the World Cup probably underperforming at the warm-up games, and a lot of people questioning England. But yeah, they've definitely turned up for the World Cup. And I think if they win next week against, I think, Samoa, or the weekend after, then they're through. They're through to the finale, to the quarterfinals. Speaking of the quarterfinals, we have found our first one, and that is Wales. Wales defeated Australia 40 points to 6. Sadly, it's Australia's worst ever scoreline at a World Cup since they lost to England 40 to 16 in 2019 in the quarterfinals. We'll talk about that game in a little bit, because the other key game of the tournament, I reckon, this weekend, and one of the best games, was Portugal Georgia. Now, I think that you should, if you haven't already, go out and watch this game. It is one heck of an encounter. in the first half, it was all Georgia. They were Harlem Globetrotters like, passing short passes, long passes. They definitely were there. They were definitely on top in the first half. But Portugal's resilience and their courage turned up. In fact, if Georgia scored right on half time with that line out drive, then they would have potentially have won that game with ease in the second half. But Portugal remained in the fight, and that's all you can ask of a side, really. And again, it was led brilliantly by the captain, Samuel Marquez, who was leading the ship pretty well. They played a lot of 10, but mainly a lot of 9. And yeah, Portugal's back 3, they were lethal too. I thought Rafael Storti stood out for me for Portugal, and I think scored the try of the weekend. It matched Van der Merwe's try, but I think this one tops it because he delivered. And Georgia, talk about having a few chances in the second half. I thought Georgia should have potentially won that in the second half. They definitely had a few chances, and Portugal also could have won it, so it was 50-50 to that. David Nianashvili, fullback for Georgia, was superb, and also Ake Tabutsai. He also ran the ship really well for Georgia. Scored a great try from the edge of the 22, I think, from memory. So yeah, it's great to see that. And also talk about drama. Georgia scored a try with 2 minutes to play. Luka Matkava scored the winning penalty to put Georgia through against Wales, and then they could have, but they missed it. They could have hold on for a draw, but Portugal got a penalty on the last play of the game. It was a nail biter. It was a cliffhanger. And it's just great for rugby to see the likes of Portugal and Georgia really give it to each other for 80 minutes like that. And then, unfortunately, he missed the penalty. So talk about drama personified. Portugal were unlucky, I thought, not to win that game. And that gives our player of the round is Rafael Storti. Now you're probably thinking, who's he? But Portugal, he lit up that team when he scored that try. When Portugal needed something brilliant, he delivered. And he was my player of the round. Other honourable mentions: Tate McDermott from Australia played really well. He was sniping around the ruck on a team that wasn't going anywhere that much. Peter Steph Toy, Kayla Norris, Josh van der Fleer, Peter O'Mahony was outstanding. Jameson Gibson Park, Johnny Sexton, Baniaki was impressive. Jesse Creel was also impressive. Williams played outstandingly well too. So yeah, if you're noticing that I'm not saying any All Blacks this weekend, it was because the All Blacks did not play this weekend. But this weekend coming, they have got Italy on Saturday morning, and if they win that, I think they'll be in the quarterfinals, barring Butcher, I think. But we'll talk about that in the review show. Before we go into the game of the round, which is South Africa versus Ireland for obvious reasons, we're just going to go into Australia-Wales just for a brief period. Now, barring a miracle from Fiji, Australia at the moment are on the brink of not making it out of the pool stages for the first time in their history. Now, as a massive All Blacks fan who's been to pretty much every game for the All Blacks and seen a lot of Australia in the past, you need them to be competitive. I don't like what's happened to them over the past 10 years. And something's going to change within that squad. Because otherwise, it's going to be the same old. And I hope they stick with this current squad. Even though they'll be scarred for life from this game, they will. It'll be same old. And maybe it was a mistake of not taking the likes of Pete Samu, Reece Hodge, for example, Michael Hooper and Quade Cooper. They could have brought those guys in, but they didn't. It's backfired a little bit. I could understand like Quade Hooper maybe, but having said that, take nothing away from Wales' victory. Gareth Hampson, when he came on for Dan Bigger, he was superb. Wales kicked really well. And credit to Warren Gatland for coming up with that game plan. They gave Australia nothing, and their rhythm wasn't there. But however, in the first 20 minutes, they were okay. They made some inroads, but again, it's those mistakes in those teams that they need to do that a little bit more better. I think, and if they are to turn it around, I think this current group needs to stay together. Because they do have good players in that team. Eddie Jones is right about that. They've got Rob Valentini, Angus Bell, James Slipper, who I think is retiring at the end of the World Cup. What a way for him to go. Mark Narasoa, Tom Hooper, Andrew Callaway, Karevi, Korobiti. So those are 8 really, really good players, and I think if they can stick together, those 8, and build some phases, because they had one phase of 16 in the entire. That was the most, I think, in the entire World Cup. But the turning point for me was when it was 10-6, I think, with about 29 minutes gone exactly. They decided to go for 3. Sorry, they could have gone with 3. They decided to go for the line. And then their line out was a shambles. Lost it. And then Wales booted it from their own 22. And that was a beautiful kick. I can't remember who it was exactly. And the Wales just, it was a 50-22 in the end. And Wales were very unlucky not to score a try right in half time. And you thought, when that happened, I thought of the Portugal game a little bit. I thought, Australia could be back in it, but no. Wales just kept the scoreboard ticking when they got the penalties. They weren't bothered about scoring bonus points or tries or anything like that. They just wanted to get the job done, and they did that convincingly. Led by their captains, led by George North in the back line, and also led by their inspirational captain, Jack Morgan, who's 23 years of age, and I think he's going to have a fantastic career ahead of him. Their defence was immense, the way that they sort of said, all right, you go, we'll go in and stop them now. And when they was like, let's hold back now, and they knew when to put pressure on, when to not put pressure on. So we might do an extra video about Australian rugby tomorrow as well. To go in a little bit more detail. Because I want to know your thoughts on them currently and where they sit. I don't want to go into that stuff too much now. But yeah, I kind of feel for Australia because they're our main rivals, and to see them like this isn't great for rugby, because you need a really, really competitive Australian side. You don't want them to win all the time, but you need them to be that competitive, and you need them to be like that side of the early 2000s and the 2003 World Cup. Yeah, they're hurting, and we'll probably leave it at that for that one. But we will do another review show. Sorry, we will do another show on the Australian team. I know that one of my fans asked for that, so we'll do that. You know who you are. The game of the weekend, boy, what a week, eh? In the build-up to that game, it had all the makings of a final for me. It was close, it was tense, it was brutal. Ireland's breakdown effort, led by Van der Flair, was amazing, and also he led the team from the front as well. I thought that Johnny Sexton again, he was superb. In the game, could have gotten away from South Africa if it wasn't there for awesome defence. And yeah, there is real belief in the Shire squad now that they can go all the way, but they might not make it this time around because they could have played the All Blacks in the quarterfinal. If they beat us, then they'll go through. But yeah, the 7-1 split came under scrutiny. I thought that worked really well for South Africa. Ireland are a fit side. They're a really technical side, and they're just, they were just unbelievable. Probably the one thing that Ireland can look at is their lineup, because in the first 20 minutes they had 5 lineouts in a row at attacking opportunities, and if you do that against the likes of the All Blacks, we've got Sam Whitelock, Brodie Retallick, Scott Barrett, Tuivasa. They're all really good jumpers, and I think if you do that against the All Blacks line-out, then I think you're in the shit. You won't do that well against the likes of them. But I think, yeah, I mean, it could be an England-Ireland semi-final or an All Blacks England semi-final game, hoping for a revenge from 2019. So yeah, no, it's been a fascinating round, isn't it? A lot of great games, scintillating games, tense games, tight games. But yeah, no, the difference in the South African Ireland game was the goal kicking. It's come under scrutiny already. Thought Marty Lapotte probably is not the best goal kicker in the world, and Fluff de Klerk missed a couple of golden opportunities to score some points. Yeah, so that's our review show, guys, for round number 3. We are going to preview the games on Wednesday, so stay tuned for that, and we'll probably do another, and when the All Blacks squad gets announced to take on Italy, you'll hear it first on the Rugby Podcast show. So stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned for that. So some epic content coming up, and we hope you're looking forward to it. Thanks, team.